It's Thanksgiving here on Combustion Chamber, and what better way to celebrate one of the most American of holidays with one of the best American cars ever built, this 1987 Buick Grand National. Let's get after it. Welcome back to Combustion Chamber. On today's episode, we have one of the best cars from the 1980s. And when you think American cars from the 1980s, you don't think horsepower, you don't think muscle cars, but this thing was way ahead of its time. It's a beautiful 1987 Buick Grand National. It's a turboed 6-cylinder, and it just blew the world away when it came out, and now is a cherished classic. Let's talk to the owner for more about this awesome car. Hey Dan, thanks for being on the show today. We really appreciate it.
Yes, sir, not a problem.
You've got one of the best cars from the 1980s, this Grand National. How did you come to get this car?
I had a childhood hero, Kit. I had a replica of Kit. 2 years ago, my younger brother had passed away, and not thinking, I jumped in my Kit replica with a bag of clothes, and I went back to Jersey to bury him. And as I was driving Kit back from Jersey back to Florida, I said, you know, Jerry, if you could hear me, I really wouldn't mind getting rid of Kit. And I want another Grand National. So I got a phone call of a gentleman wanting to buy Kit, and then indeed he did buy the car, and that same day I found this one left for dead in Miami, and that's how this one came to be.
Now you've had to do a lot of restoration work on this though, correct?
Right, correct. It was planned for a restoration, and right before it was supposed to happen, I got into an accident where I was rear-ended. The car was put into a ditch, destroyed the left quarter panel, destroyed the rear end, destroyed some of the suspension, and so at that point is when I went ahead and had the whole car done over.
Now, when a lot of people hear 80s American cars, they don't think horsepower, and that's true for a large part.
Very
what makes
true.
this car special from that era?
Just the iconic V6 turbo with the intercooler, which is something that nobody was ready for, I think, at the time. The turbo with the intercooler, that combination just really set the car apart from everybody else.
Well, why don't you say we get this car on the road?
It sounds like a plan. Let's do it.
So what kind of reaction do you get when you take this to a show?
People just stop and stare, man, and I can tell they, you know, it's the older crowd that'll understand what this car is.
Well, you know, the 80s are not known for fast domestic cars, but this was one of the ones that was just powerful. And
right.
It still is a great car, but for that time, I mean, it was way, way ahead of its time.
I ordered and I put them in Veltec 2-inch drop spindles in the front, track springs in the front as well, which gave it a little bit more of a drop.
Driving this Buick Grand National today was outstanding. This car is classic 80s all the way. I love the lines and the styling. It's definitely a car that looks like it's from the 1980s, but it is so sleek looking in black, and it's got great lines. But it also has great power. And once again, that's not something you would expect from an 80s car, but this thing has it in spades. What did you think about this Buick Grand National? Are you an owner yourself? Let us know in the comments section below. And if you like this episode, give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and happy Thanksgiving. And for more Combustion Chamber, hit that subscribe button. We always say hit that subscribe button, but also hit that bell icon on YouTube for instant notifications when these episodes go live. And we want to keep this show independent and about you, so check us out on Patreon. And for exclusive news and behind the scenes content, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. The links for all of that are right below.